This is the Phillies' mindset right now as they beat the Braves in the NLDS or headed to the NLCS.
I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali.
Yeah, the Phillies are going to be headed out to California, San Diego specifically, because the Dodgers choked big time, to play in the NLCS. And if you were to tell me, not just at the start of the season, 2, 3 weeks ago, that this team would not only make the playoffs, but go on the road and upset the St. Louis Cardinals, the NL Central winning St. Louis Cardinals, and then going on to beat the Atlanta Braves and advance to the NLCS, I would have called you a crazy person. These kind of things don't happen here. The last time the Phillies were in the NLCS was 2010, and they're just on this magical, crazy ride right now. That's the best way I can describe it. It's magical. This team has caught fire. Bryce Harper, particularly, is playing like an absolute madman right now. Everyone, he didn't look right when he first came back. He looked overmatched. He didn't look like he was in the swing of things. Now he's playing like the guy who won the 2021 NL MVP and the guy who started off this season just hot as hell too. Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler have stepped up huge, and it's going to be really hard to beat the Phillies in a 7-game series, knowing that 4 of those games are going to be started by Aaron Nola or Zach Wheeler. Now, that atmosphere at Citizens Bank Park was absolutely insane too. It was an absolute madhouse coming from someone who's actually there in person. It was absolutely insane. That place was so loud. Apparently, there was reports that you could hear the noise from that building all the way in South Jersey or in Center City, and I believe it. Specifically with the Rhys Hoskins home run in Game 3. That place absolutely exploded, and it was one of the most memorable experiences I've ever had at a sporting event. Now, the work is not done, obviously, and guess what? And even if the Phillies end up losing to the Padres, which is very much a possibility. The Padres, just like the Phillies, are on this crazy run, beating teams that had much better records than they are. And we could lose to the Padres, but I'm not going to be really upset. I'll obviously be disappointed, but this is house money at this point. The Phillies made the NLCS. No one could have predicted that, even at the start of the season, when this team at least had higher expectations than what they've had previous years. So I am so ecstatic. I love this team. Now they've shut me up. They shut a lot of people up who said that when they went on this awful losing streak in September, it seemed like same old, same old. It seemed like this happens every year, and people are right to think that way because it did happen every year. But they managed to get into the playoffs, and now they're going on this improbable, insane run. And it's so great, too, that in a division, the NL East, that had 201 win teams, the 87 win Phillies are the last team standing and are playing for their right to go to the World Series. Now, I at least respect the Braves. I don't like them, and I don't want them to win because they're our rivals, but I at least respect them. They have a winning culture. They've been a winning organization for the best part of over 30 years now. I respect that. Mets fans, I don't respect you. You guys shot your mouth off all year long how the Phillies suck, how we dominated you in the regular season, which is true. The Mets did dominate the Phillies in the regular season, but guess what? I always kept thinking, just wait until the end of the season, wait until the playoffs. Because the Mets are going to do what the Mets are going to do. Lowell Mets reign supreme, and that's going to be the case until they prove me wrong, and they haven't proved me wrong yet. So the Mets are a joke. So enjoy watching the Phillies, an 87-win team, in the NLCS. So I am so happy about this right now, and I can't wait for the NLCS. This played the Citizens Bank Park. You thought it was loud against the Braves. It's going to be even louder in the NLCS when the Phillies are going to try to go to the World Series for the first time in 13 years. So, man, all that pain for the last 11 years, it still hurt. All the bad moments, all the late season collapses, all the chokes, all the blown saves, and the blown leads, all the underachieving, that still left a scar. But you know what? Winning heals a lot of issues. It heals a lot of trauma that I've experienced the last 11 years. And this fan base as a whole really needed this playoff run because we were starved of it for so long. All these years went by, failed rebuilds, failed prospects, all these managers that went through, from Charlie Manuel getting fired to him getting replaced by Ryan Sandberg, to him getting replaced by Pete McKinnon, to Joe Girardi getting hired and everyone making a big deal. Oh, he's a World Series caliber manager. He has a winning track record. Well, he turned out to be a complete fraud. And in firing him is what galvanized the troops. And Rob Thompson's calming presence and his belief in his players is what caused this to happen. And it's just a magical ride, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. Win or lose, this has been a phenomenal season, and what a time to be a Phillies fan. What a time to be a Phillies fan. I am so grateful that they've given this to us. Let's go, Phils.